Listen, man, I'm Thawahgabar for Black Authentic Truth. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me. You know, the video I made about Isaac Woodard, the brother that came from the military on his way home and was blinded by police officers in South Carolina. I made that story. I posted that story and I got people that responded. I posted it on Memorial Day. And I think that that was important for me to drop it on Memorial Day because we need to understand what we done as far as joining all the wars, fighting in all the wars, and how we were treated when we came back from the wars. And there's plenty of videos and history on how the Vietnam vets, the black vets, and how they were treated in the war, how they were put in walking point. They were put in the front of the infantries a lot of times as the first line of defense, and just how they came back, and even how the community, the black community, felt about their sons and daughters going to fight a war when they still had to come back home and fight a race war. So I want to drop the story of Isaac Woodard, and I got some brothers that responded that were actually veterans, and I just want to read their comments real quick. So one of the brothers, his name is Ruby Moon 8225, says, "Thank you for sharing Isaac Woodard's story. May he rest in peace and power." And that probably wasn't a brother. This is not the brother, but this looks like it might be a sister. So thank you, sis, for watching the video and commenting. Okay. That was from Ruby Moon 8225. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Now, I have another, probably about two more. And this one says, this is from a brother named, his tag is Bravo Golf 1107. He says, as a black veteran, this story pisses me the F off. There are hundreds of stories like this one, and in a good many of these stories, the black soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine did not survive. What I have always had trouble wrapping my head around is why we were, or in some cases still, hated so much. Put 2 question marks. He said, I'm trying to wrap my head around, after doing all of that and fighting in these wars, we come back and we're still hated so much. He's trying to understand it, which a lot of people struggle with in our community, struggle with the hatred we get, even when we, have served this country. He says, we are the most loyal people in this country. For example, we never did what the white people of the South did. We have taken all of the shit that this country has piled on us, brushed it off, and still we drive on. We serve and die for this country. We serve and die for this country. Hooah. So this, thank you, Bravo Golf 1107. He said he's a black veteran, and he raised a lot of questions and issues, and said a lot of stuff that makes perfect sense. He said we are the most loyal people in this country. We died in all of these wars. We fought in the military, and then we come home and we still get feces piled on us, and we get treated like that, and we just brush it off, and we keep on moving as a group of people and try to be the best version that we can be of ourselves, which that's what I think we all should do. We should try to be the best version we can be of ourselves, regardless of what is happening. And this brother is making a good point. He said, we done served and died for this country, and I'm trying to wrap my head around, where is all this hatred? Where is all this hatred coming from? Why is it that we are people that have shown our loyalty and we get treated how we treated as black people? Any other people, I don't think, would have shown the type of loyalty that black people have shown after being enslaved by people and been patriotic and believed in the American flag. And then you have black people even today. Of course, you have the others that say, well, that's a victim mentality. You're locked in that victimhood. This is a United States veteran saying this. This is somebody, he's a victim. A successful black man that goes to work every day, raises a black family, a decent black family. He talks about racism. He's a victim now. That's a victim mentality. How? How is that a victim mentality? Does Bravo Golf have a victim mentality, a U.S. United States veteran that says he notices how we have been treated this way, even if we serve in the military, in all branches of the military, we have been treated this way. And this is, if you don't know, this is in relation to the story of Isaac Woodard. If you don't know, go check it out on my channel, Isaac Woodard. This is a response that he's having to hearing this story. And he also said, I'm pretty sure there's many stories just like this that we don't know about. And these people and the brothers never survived. They didn't survive. They didn't live for their story to be told. This is from, in response to Isaac Woodard, this is Boy KK. This is why they are called Ite devils. Justice will be done in Judgment Day. Believe it. Shaking my head. Thank you for your comment. I mean, this is natural. This is natural how people feel, what you're seeing. They seeing the story of what happened to Isaac Woodard. This is how they feel. Naju 332 said, why do black brothers join the army for? ? To be used like this? Yeah, so those are just some of them. Those are just some of them. This is the brother named Hayward McCullough, 2762. He says, as a veteran and also from South Carolina, this is so heartbreaking. I will never, ever have any kind of love for these people. This is also in response to Isaac Woodard's story. So you see here the reaction, not just from regular people seeing this story, but the reaction from United States veterans that served in the military, people that know what it is like to go and fight for your country, black people, and they just can't believe it. And like the brother said, we are such a loyal people. We fought in the military and we died in all the wars. And then just to come home and be treated like dogs, or come home to a community where you're still called the N-word for the people you just went to Vietnam and fought for. Go out there to Syria and Iraq and be in all Afghanistan and fight, and just to come home and, lose your life by answering your door to a police officer, and they try to say it's your fault. Anyway, I'm off of it. I'm going to go on to my next story. The next story is Saucy Santana. Now, I never knew who Saucy Santana was until before the last story that came out some months ago with him saying he would beat up DJ Academics. And so that's when I got hip to Saucy Santana, because I don't really pay attention to that love and hip hop type of scene. That scene that they have on television. And I suppose a lot of these characters, a lot of these people they're featured on a lot of these love and hip hop reality TV show type reality TV shows. So I don't be following that crap. So I don't be knowing who people are. And it's like, I'm just not in the algorithm like that. I don't be following everything. You know what I mean? But Saucy Santana is a alternative lifestyle rapper, apparently. And recently there was some things that Saucy Santana said concerning black women that got black women in an uproar, and just people in general. So I'm going to read, this is an article from a website called Wrap Up. And I guess it covers, hip hop, music, and all of that, stories, things of that nature. So Saucy Santana says, Saucy Santana clarifies his comments about women not having the same strength as men. And that's what this is all about, him saying women not having the same strength. So he says, girls don't got the same strength as niggas. I'm going to say men, okay? I'm going to put men in there. They don't. I grew up around nothing but girls. I hate when girls be like, I'm a dog, I'm a man. I act just like a man out here. Santana shared on his Instagram, no, y'all don't, baby. Y'all are just soft. Y'all females, it's the estrogen, baby. You cannot move like a man. You cannot think like a man. You cannot move like a man. I want y'all to stop lying to yourselves. So this caused an uproar because Saucy Santana is a man. He has like a beard. He wears makeup, eyelashes, all of that, and has all the mannerisms and the flamboyancy of a woman, those characteristics. And I'm going to read a little bit more. Excuse me. It says, he said, when it comes to me, I'm always giving he and him. I'm a boy. I'm a man. Regardless of how much you see lashes, nails, and a pretty face, I'm a boy. I grew up around a lot of girls, and girls are soft. They can't maneuver like men because we're really cutthroat, and y'all really y'all really not like that. So this has caused an uproar, of course, because this is, people are saying, well, how can you say that we can't be like men when you are whatever you claim to be, being like a woman? You are a man that is he just said he's a him. He's a man. He wears makeup and lashes and all of that. And people are looking at it like, you're saying that you're a man, but you're trying to be and dress and have the mannerisms of a woman. So, of course, this is causing a big stir because people are like, it doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? How can you stand there and say a woman is not as strong as a man? Now, this is how I see it. It's like, this would make sense if it was coming from a masculine man. So I'm going to read some of the replies of the people that rebutted what he was saying. You had a woman to say that I'm exactly who you'll never be. So you see, people took great offense to that. People took great offense to him saying that, particularly women took great offense to that. And my thing is that it's just a lot of confusion. This world is filled with confusion for our people. And I'm not surprised. The next trend that comes up, I feel that our people is going to hop on that too. The next lifestyle trend. But I also want to say that Saucy Santana is created by Black women. Now, I've seen that he has a Black mother that is a pastor of all things. And many sisters, and this is from experience, and y'all know this to be true, so don't front and don't fake. Many sisters in our community, many women in our community have always supported the alternative lifestyle, especially when it came to our sons and our brothers. Black women have always been behind this. The irony is that Saucy Santana, he's the monster that Black women created. Now, don't get all upset and emotional, but he is the monster that Black women created. That's the truth. That's the Black authentic truth. Black women were more open and more inviting to these alternative lifestyles and accepting them and making them, BFFs and, making them their road dogs and chilling with them and being, around them and accepting their sons as this and accepting your sons as this. And this is the result. This is the irony of it all, because it's a monster that was created in the Black home. And it's a monster that also is created by the breakdown of the Black home. It's a monster that's created by the the fact that there is no fathers in the home like that. Not saying that black men don't love their children or take care of their children, but there is a breakdown of the family. And I'm sure everybody can agree with that. Through that breakdown, society and the trends and the ideology of America was able to creep into the black households. And Saucy Santana is a reflection of that. And there's thousands of brothers just like Saucy Santana. And a lot of them got their stamp in the black community. A lot of them got their stamp of approval from our sisters. Black men wasn't really open to that like that, except for effeminate brothers. But you get the point. Now, there's some things that I want to bring out that you probably didn't know. You probably didn't know that alternative lifestyles was considered a mental illness at one point in time. And you're talking about a fight from 1952 to 73 when they had a vote on whether or not to take alternative lifestyles off of the mental illness list. So you had about 5,000 people, and I would perceive that they was all Caucasian folk that voted at a convention, that voted whether or not to keep it on the mental illness list or to take it off in 1973. And they decided to take it off. The overwhelming majority won, and they took these alternative lifestyles off of the list of a mental illness to just being regular. I want you to think for that. I want you to think about that and just let that marinate in your head for a minute. This is the society we live in. And you talk about 73, you talking about the 70s is when you started to see the decline of the black family. Not saying that that was the reason the family declined, just saying that we was already on a downward spiral from the 1960s as far as the family nucleus and the man being around, because you got to throw in that welfare thing. And I'm going to get to that also on another topic. But this happened. And over time, it crept into the home and the household of black people, because black people wasn't like that. They didn't accept certain things. They didn't accept certain things. I'm going to say that again. Black people didn't accept certain things about the dominant white culture. They didn't. But as these things start to become popular, and now even in our time, you are seeing a acceleration of them pushing it into movies, pushing it into brochures, pushing this lifestyle on you, where it's everywhere. I've seen movies where the movie is good and they put something like that in it. I'm questioning, why is it even there? Why is a intimate sex scene even in the movie, even in the series? You just messed it up. You just messed it up for me. But I understood, like, they're really pushing this thing. It's like, to sign off on something, you got to have something like that in there to push to the youth, to push to the community, to people in general in this society. So it was put on that list. So it's almost like this. It was they considered it a mental illness. And it's like, you look at me, I'm a black man. And a lot of the things that they have today, they say, well, I feel like I'm this, I feel like I'm that. How would I look going into an office building, for a job interview, going to the DMV, and say, the person look at me and say, on your paperwork, it says that you're a Caucasian man. And I say, well, I identify as a 40-year-old Caucasian man. I know I'm black, but this is what I identify as. This is what I always felt I was from a child. I always felt different. I always felt I shouldn't have been in the hood. I always felt like, I was set apart. I never could find my place growing up in the ghetto. Because deep down inside, I always was a Caucasian person. How would they look at me? They would look at me like something is wrong with me. They would say, something is wrong with this dude. Get him up out of here. Call security. If I got pulled over as a black man, I got pulled over, or the police come to a scene or something, from a call. They come and I'm out there quacking like a bird, like a chicken. Bark, 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 bark. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. I identify as a chicken. Put the gun down. Get down. I'm not going to hurt y'all. I'm not going to hurt you, officer. I'm a chicken. Bark, 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 bark. Officer like, well, you're about to be a deep fried chicken. How do you want it? Regular or extra crispy? I'm finna tase the hell out of you. Then they're going to say, send him to the psych ward. He's not in his right mind. He's talking about he's a damn chicken. I always felt like I was a chicken from the time I was born. I identify as a chicken. So going back to what I said, which you can go research, don't take my word for it. Go and research the fact that these alternative lifestyles were looked at as mental illness by top leading psychiatrists, psychologists, all of these medical professionals, behavioral professionals of the mind looked at these things like it was a mental illness. It's something that is chemically unbalanced or something that is mentally unbalanced with you. So getting back to that Saucy Santana story, I mean, it is what it is and what it looks like. It looks like just a ball of confusion. A ball of confusion, and we have to hold ourselves accountable in the Black community for the things that we have accepted. And we said it's okay. And we said love is love. And you should love a person regardless. And you shouldn't shun them and not push them away. You should do that. You should accept them. But now all of that acceptance that our sisters done did, now it's backfiring. Now you have men that have come up that actually dislike women and think they can take the place of women and say women don't even own their own womanhood. You're not the only woman. He said he was more feminine than a lot of women that want to be like a man. He know how to be feminine more than they do. And to me, it's just a ball of confusion. Now, let me get back to my lineup. My lineup is, next I want to talk about, it was a brother. Let me see. So in the last video, I was talking about, it was a video with Charleston White, and I was talking about, the Black household. And a brother said that I have not seen a Black woman choose Section 8 if she, well, he said, I have not seen a Black woman choose a Black man over Section 8 if she already is on it. I didn't really address it. I talked about what got us into that issue, what got us into that realm and that world where a man can't be in the household. When it comes to Section 8 or public assistance or welfare, or all of these things, you got to know the history behind it. You hear this thrown out a lot when it comes to our people. When we're talking about the breakdown of the family, you hear the phrase, or what I just read, but in a different way, you hear that Black women chose Section 8 over the Black men. I don't actually believe that's true, and it's as clear cut as it sounds. Like he's saying, do you want these benefits or do you want to keep your man? I don't think that it's like that. I don't think that it was ever like that. This happened over a period of time, and let's talk about it. It happened during the time when our families was breaking down. Now, from the getting out of slavery, even in slavery, it's proven, and there's records to show that Black people stayed together in family units all the way up into the 1940s. In many cases, I said it before, I'll keep saying this because Black people need to know this. The world needs to know this, that Black families were doing better than white families at one point in time, 1930s and 40s. So this idea that our families wasn't intact, this stereotype that our families have always been destroyed, that's not the case. And it just shows you that slavery didn't necessarily just destroy our families. It's deeper than breaking up the family. It's a generational curse that psychologically has been passed down with our people, with how we look and how we feel about our circumstances and our outlook, and the positive or negative outlook that we have towards life and our surroundings and where we're at in this society and where we stand in this society. And so we did pretty good until around the 60s when they implemented the new welfare plan. And that new welfare plan was saying that if you want these benefits, you need to be married, or if you're not married or the man is not in the house, then you can't get the benefits. You have to be married. And if you're not married, the man has to be out the house. Now, when you think about what people say all the time is that black women chose welfare over the man, chose Section 8 over the man. To me, that's not necessarily true, because it was like we were put in a position. Our family unit was put in a position. And if you was in a family unit and y'all needed help, you can't find a job, they're going to give your girl some benefits. You got mouths to feed. As a man, you're going to tell her to do that. You're going to tell your woman, go ahead and get the benefits. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and, do this thing. I'm going to just stay over here. Whenever the worker come, I'll just leave. I'll still stay there. That's how the family unit was, the black community. I've never seen nobody not be together because of the restrictions that Section 8 or any of that, any restriction from any government entity where it says that a man can't be in the house. Yeah, he probably can't be in the house all the time or when these people come around, but he's going to be around. But the ball was already rolling in the deterioration of our families. And that just added on. So if a man is there every day, that's a benefit. It's a benefit for him to be involved. The family would grow. I mean, as far as the family would benefit from him being there. But if he can't be there all the time, I feel like over time that just added to the stress and the cycle in our families. And it didn't help when you throw in unemployment. The unemployment rate has been down there the same since the 70s between black people and white people, the unemployment gap. And so you throw in all these things, you throw in women's liberation, you throw in, all of those sexual movements. You throw in the drugs. And so it was bound to happen that our families would end up like this. So when it comes to, you people saying that a black woman chose Section 8 over a black man, I don't think it's clear cut and dry as that. You can't just say, she said, okay, I'm going to choose this. I want these benefits. Bye, nigga. Bye. We can't be together anymore. I don't think it was clear cut as that. It wasn't. Not that I don't think, I know it wasn't as clear cut as that. And many people that grew up in the hood, I grew up in the hood. We grew up in low income. We know what it is when they want to come and do these inspections and they want to come and check, the social workers and all that. And if you got family members or you or whoever ain't supposed to be there, you just dip out for the day. We know how it is. We know what time it is. Ain't nobody stopping no relation. The government wasn't stopping no relationships, but that unity and that bond and that nucleus where a man's supposed to always be around to know what's going on, to lead and to protect his family, I think it did have an effect on that. But I don't think it was clear cut how they make it seem like a black woman said, I'm choosing these benefits, I'm choosing Medi-Cal, I'm choosing this over the father of my children being around. I don't think it was like that. It was a lot more. It's a lot more what they call it, nuance. It's a lot more things you got to break down. And you can't just make a blanket statement like that and say that our sisters decided. But of course, this does seem what had happened when you look back in history. But there was always a lot of other things at play that was going on with us. And so I just don't agree with that statement. So I hope this breaks it down and gives a person a different perspective. Like the brother that said that, he said, I have not seen a black woman who chose a black man over Section 8 if she already was on it. If a woman was already on it and you met a man, why would a woman get off of Section 8? Why would she get away from the benefits unless the man has something going on that is far better and superior than the benefits that the government is giving this woman? Like, just from a logical standpoint, it wouldn't make sense for a woman to leave those benefits and get with a man that can't provide at least that same level, or her get off herself and try to find a job and get a job that can't provide that same level. And that's also why, when it comes to that whole idea of them helping us, it was like they're subsidizing us to fail, because it puts you in a position of, why would you try to get something more when you don't even have to work and you're going to get the same thing? But anyway, I'm off of it. I'm off of that. Now I want to go into some Black Authentic Truth history. We're going to talk about Black Authentic Truth history, okay? These are companies that are connected to slavery. All right. Companies connected to slavery. Let me get set up. It says, the now defunct financial service firm Lehman Brothers acknowledged that its founding partners owned not one, but several enslaved Negroes during the Civil War era, and that in all likelihood, it profited significantly from slavery. Aetna Incorporated, the United States' largest health insurer, apologized for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Negroes they owned died. Between 1831 and 1865, the two predecessors of J.P. Morgan, Chase Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of roughly 1,050 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. New York Life Insurance Company is the largest mutual life insurance company in the United States. They also took part in slavery by selling insurance policies on enslaved Negroes ranging from $375 to $600. A 1906 history of New York Life says that 339 of the company's first 1,000 policies were written on the lives of slaves. Wachovia Corporation, now owned by Wells Fargo, has apologized for its ties to slavery after disclosing that two of its historical predecessors owned enslaved Negroes and accepted them as payment. N&M Rothschilds and Sons Bank in London was linked to slavery. It has been revealed that Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Negroes as collateral in dealings with slave owners. The Mobile and Garrod Company, which is now part of Norfolk Southern, would rent Negroes from slaveholders on one-year contracts for $180 apiece, the equivalent of $3,379 today. According to the records, USA Today has found that their own parent company, E.W. Scripps and Gannett, had links to the slave trade. Fleet Boston evolved from an earlier financial institution, Providence Bank, founded by John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport enslaved Negroes. CSX used slave labor to construct portions of some U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place for over a century. Individual enslaved Negroes cost up to $200 today, the equivalent of $3,800 today, to rent for a season, and CSX took full advantage. The Canadian National Railway Companies, headquartered in Montreal, Quebec, served Canada and also the Midwestern and Southern United States. The company also had a history in which it benefited from slavery. The Mobile in Ohio, now part of Canadian National, valued their slaves lost to the war in emancipation at $199,000 $691 on record. The amount is currently worth $2.2 million. Brown Brothers Harriman is a Wall Street bank that owned hundreds of slaves and lent millions to Southern plantation owners, merchants, and cotton traders. Brooks Brothers, the high-end suit retailer, got its start by selling slave clothing to various slave traders back in the 1800s. Barclays, the British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London, has now admitted that companies they bought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. AIG bought American General Financial, which owns U.S. Life Insurance Company. U.S. Life Insurance Company used to insure lives of slaves. Brown University was named for the Brown brothers who gave money to the university. The two were slave traders. One ran a factory that used slave-grown cotton, and a university hall was built in part by slave labor. Harvard Law School was endowed with money from Isaac Royale, a slave owner and sugarcane grower from the British colony of Antigua. Princeton raised money and recruited students from rich slave-owning families in the South and the Caribbean. Princeton was not alone in hitting up slave owners and traders for money and students. So did Harvard, Yale, Penn, Columbia, Rutgers, Brown, Dartmouth, and the University of Delaware. By the mid-1700s, most of Princeton's students were the sons of slave owners, and many Columbia students were sons of slave traders. Tiffany & Co. was founded with their profits from a cotton mill in Connecticut that processed slave-grown cotton. Yale University first endowed scholarships, professorship, and library came from money from slave trading. In conclusion, without a doubt, it can be said that every business has prospered and benefited from slavery in America, whether directly or indirectly. America benefited from capitalism, and capitalism has its roots deeply entrenched in the sale and possession of human beings. So that is the Black Authentic Truth story and history for today. Listen, man, thank y'all for rocking with me. Give me your thoughts and your opinions, and I'll be back next week. And with that, this is Black Authentic Truth.